Are you ready to hit the open road? Well, I know I am. I have been busy planning a road trip with my cousin. We're going to go out to Yellowstone and to Glacier National Park next month. So I've been doing a lot of road trip prep. And I thought I'd share with you what works for planning the perfect road trip. Be it mapping out your essential route, the must-have supplies, and other planning tips and tricks. So buckle up for the ultimate road trip planning guide. Have you ever felt that thrill, getting in your car, driving the open road, an adventure beginning? Well, that can end up to be a dream trip or a disaster, depending if you did proper planning or not. If you're like me, you've felt the thrill of a road trip. Every turn could bring a new adventure. There's just something magical about road trips. They give you the freedom to explore that really a cruise does not. So I love cruising along scenic highways, stopping for those quirky roadside attractions, and finding that perfect eating spot in the middle of nowhere. But here's the thing, while just hopping in your car and taking off sounds amazing, a little trip planning can make your trip a dream adventure instead of a disaster. You don't want to be that person stuck along the side of the road with no gas, or find out that all the hotels and lodging where you're going are already booked. That's why in this video, I'm going to go through all the steps so you can plan that perfect road trip adventure. I'll cover how to pick the best route, the apps that will make your life easier, the car maintenance tips that could save your trip, and of course, all the must-have supplies to keep you safe and comfortable. By the time we're done, you're going to be more than ready to hit the road with confidence, knowing that you've got everything covered. So buckle up, let's dive into that ultimate road trip adventure. Now, to me, the beauty of a road trip is that you are in control. You get to decide where you want to go, what you want to see, and how you want to get there. Now, I always start by pinpointing my final destination, and then work out the route and the places I want to see along the way. Now, you might be looking for the fastest route to your final destination or a more scenic, leisurely path. It is up to you. You are in control. Now, there are plenty of free and paid apps that can make your trip planning easier and help you find those perfect attractions and spots along the way. Road Trippers is one of the popular ones. It can help you map your route, find interesting places to visit, and even book your hotel. Now, I like Roadie because it's more for the phone and it is really, really easy to use. It also shows different places to visit, food, gas, those type of things while you're planning it right on your phone. But both TripIt and Wanderlog are also great. They can help you organize your trip documents too, which is another plus. Now, these are all great apps, but remember, technology isn't always reliable. You might lose your GPS connection. I know I did when we were on a family trip out in Arkansas and we had rented a little cottage. We got so far and out of range GPS. And we stopped 3 different places and asked people for directions till we finally found the cottage. It would have been so great to have some printed directions. It's called a map. That's right, the old-fashioned way to plan a trip. It might seem a little old school, but trust me, when you're out of cell range, these are invaluable. Oh yeah, one more thing about maps. They're great for finding little detours on your trip. So you might find an interesting place to visit that you didn't know, but you saw it on your map. Most states offer free maps. Just put in your browser free the name of your state, and map. And it should come up to the state tourist site or the state highway site. And most every state will send you a free map. But if time doesn't allow it, you usually can get a map when you enter the state at the state's visitor center. And I urge you, pick up maps. But GPS applications are a must for road trips now. You know, you can use Google Maps, Waze, or maybe Apple Maps. These can be your best friend on your trip. Because if you're doing a solo trip, you can't look at your map and drive too. But your GPS will give you directions, so you don't have to worry about that. These apps can do more than just give you directions. They can tell you where the nearest gas station is, or food, or even hospital. I like using iExit. It is the interstate exit guide. It shows upcoming exits, allows easy search of hotels, foods, and rest stops, and real-time gas prices comparison tool. So you can find cheap gas at nearby gas stations. If you are using Google Maps, remember you can download maps. So in case you do lose your cell connection, you can still have a map on your phone. There's one more app I like and I want to mention. It's called Splitwise. And in this case, my cousin and I are splitting the cost of the trip. So this is a great app where you put in the cost of your lodging and your meals every time you stop. And then it's easily split between two parties, or three or four, however many you want. So if you are going on a trip and you aren't going to be the sole one who's paying for that trip, you might want to check out Splitwise. I have links for all these apps down below. And let's not forget about keeping everybody entertained on those long stretches of highway. You know, luckily, kids now have their little video games and pads and everything, which can really help keeping the he's looking at me, she poked me, you know, those type of interactions at a minimum. I wish we would have had those in my day. Now, streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music are great for creating the best playlist for your trip. Just make sure you download that beforehand. That way, you're not reliant on cell service. Or if you're more into storytelling, try Audible for downloading novels or listening to podcasts. If you're like me, you like those murder podcasts, and it can really help make the miles fly by. And you could also consider apps like Overdrive or Libby, where you can get free audiobooks from your local library downloaded to your phone. It's a great way to keep costs down while still enjoying great content. Now, something super important is making sure that your vehicle is trip ready. I mean, if you think about it, your car is going to be your home on wheels, your trusty companion for miles and miles on end. So before you even think of packing up and hitting the highway, make sure your vehicle is in the best condition possible. I mean, the last thing you want to do is to be stranded on the side of the road because, oops, you never did that vehicle maintenance. If your car hasn't been serviced in a while, start with a comprehensive checkup. And of course, have an oil change. You want to have them check your tires, your brakes, your battery, fluid levels, your lights, and your windshield wipers. You want to make sure everything is in tip-top shape before you hit the road. But even with the best pre-maintenance, things can go wrong. Before I discuss what you should pack in your car, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel, Prepper Potpourri Escapes, where you can enjoy cruise and road trip and vacation tips and tricks videos. And hit that notification button so you don't miss a single video. I really, really appreciate it. So one of the first things to check, do you have a spare tire? Do you have a jack? Do you know how to change a tire? Jumper cables, very important. And again, do you know how to use them? Where does the red one go? Where does the black one go? That's important. And basic tools, have a small toolkit, you know, with pliers and wrench and screwdrivers. and of course, duct tape. And I always recommend to have a first aid kit in your car. Whether you're going on a road trip or not, it can become indispensable if you do have an accident or just a boo-boo. And of course, you need a good flashlight. Again, you should be carrying these things in your car all the time, not just when you go on a road trip. And of course, it's good to have roadside flares and reflective triangles just in case you do have an accident or have to pull over. And not a bad idea to carry some blanket and water just in case your car breaks down, you get lost, whatever. This way you can stay warm and hydrated. And my cousin and I are going to bring a sleeping bag too, just in case where we go, maybe everything is fully booked and we end up camping in our car. And finally, when we're talking about your car, know your roadside options. If you got AAA, great. I believe Allstate also has the roadside assistant program, and so does the Good Sam's. Always a good idea. Just make sure you carry your card or know your number for roadside assistance. Okay, you've got your route mapped out. You've got your car prepared. But what about where you're going to stay? Are you going to book your lodging in advance or just on the go? Well, we're going to do both because when we get near Yellowstone, lodging fills up really fast. So we have our hotels already reserved. But the rest of the trip, we're going to book on the go. And we'll probably be using apps on our phone like Expedia, Books.com, or Hotels.com. All great for finding a good deal on, in our case, a budget hotel. And if you're traveling with pets, make sure that where you're staying accepts pets. There's also websites like recreation.gov and Reserve America, which are great for finding and booking campsites. And there's even apps to find last-minute deals. Hotel Tonight is one of them that you can find discounts on unsold rooms. And CampSpot or HipCamp can do the same to find a camping spot. These apps can be lifesaver when you're booking on the go and even help you save money. Now, remember, I'm a prepper, so I'm going to suggest some additional preps. 1, emergency contacts. Carry your list of emergency contacts with you and make sure that someone knows your itinerary and check in frequently with them so they know everything is okay. And of course, if you're going to do any hiking, that is even more important. And I'm going to mention that first aid kit again. If you're doing hiking too, take something with you, right? But make sure you have a good first aid kit in your vehicle. And make sure you filled your prescription medicines ahead of time so you have what you need for the trip. And you might have your trip documents on your phone, but I always suggest to print them out. Your hotel reservations, if you were doing any air, any rent-a-car, any attractions that you've reserved, have printouts of that just in case. And one thing that I do is, what would happen if you lost your car key, right? How embarrassing. You have to wait to have somebody come, get in, get a new key. So I take a duplicate key. In this case, my cousin will have it. So if I lose it, I can get it back from her. So just a good safeguard. Make sure all your texts and gadgets are fully charged, and don't forget those charging cables and power bank. And comfort items. Double check, have you packed any pillows, any blankets, or in my case, I kind of like a neck pillow because when I'm driving for a long time, my neck starts aching right there. So that can help. And a packing list. I always do a packing list and I always check off as I'm putting something in the car. That way I don't forget something important. And there you have it, your ultimate guide to road trip planning. You've got your route mapped out, your car is ready, your bags are packed, And we've covered all the essentials. Now it's time for the best part, hitting that road and enjoying the journey. And remember, road trips are all about the adventure. Planning is important, but stay flexible. Create memories that will last you a lifetime. So buckle up, start your engine, and let that adventure begin. Safe travels, everybody, and enjoy every mile of that trip. I'll be sharing with you in later videos our epic trip out west. I just can't wait. Now, back to my trip planning.